2026. Every block, every ballot, every voice. This ain't left or right. This is right now. OVC. Teachers shaping minds. Vets who stood strong. Gig workers hustling just to get along. Parents, elders, first-time voters in line. Same clock ticking, same moment in time. No dark money whispers. No backroom deals. Daylight choices and the truth that's real. Labels don't own us. We bigger than signs. Accountability lives where democracy thrives.
Our vote counts. Yeah, remember the name. Every voice heard. We don't play no games. From the city to the plains, let freedom resound. Different stories, same future. United we found. Our vote counts. Stand tall, no doubt. Integrity first. Let the people speak loud. From the city to the plains, let freedom resound. Different stories, same future. United we
Clear
found.
facts, no spin. Education unlocked. Breaking down the process from the door to the box. Who earns the trust? Who shows up to serve? Asking the questions. Leaders got nerves. Neighborhoods talking. Town halls packed. Local voices first. Yeah, we built it like that. Different faiths, views, so walking as one. Democracy stronger when we all get it done. Yeah.
Our vote counts, yeah, remember the name. Every voice heard. We don't play no games. From coast to coast, let the movement expand. Power in the people, future in our hands. Our vote counts, stand tall, no doubt. When we show up informed, that's what it's all about. Our vote counts, stand tall, no doubt. When we show up informed, that's what it's all about.
This ain't no cycle. Nah, this is a standard. Long-term vision. Principles planned from schools to the boards, up to the higher seats. We connect the dots from the block to the streets. Peaceful power, respect and demand. Integrity measured by actions, not plans. OVC active, participation mounts. When the people stand ready, turnout counts. Yeah.
Our vote counts, yeah, remember the name. Every voice heard. We don't play no games. From the city to the plains, let freedom resound. Different stories, same future. United we found. Our vote counts, stand tall, no doubt. Integrity first. Let the people speak loud. From the city to the plains, let freedom resound. Different stories, same future. United we found.
Every voice,
Every voice,
every vote.
every vote.
Integrity, inclusion, accountability. OVC.
OVC.
Yeah. 2026. My vote counts. And so does yours.
Hello, everyone. Glad you all stopped in to listen to our song. That's one of our OVC songs. Glad you enjoyed that while everybody started trickling into the live. So, hi, Shamal. How are you?
Hello. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm glad you were able to come up successfully with no issues. All right. So, whenever you're ready, we'll go ahead and get started.
Okay. I'm ready when you are. I want to thank you guys for having me tonight. I'm so excited to be able to share with you guys, and I love what you're doing, getting the message out there all over, letting people know that their vote counts, and I'm excited about tonight.
Thank you. And just, I appreciate you and many other candidates giving us the opportunity to give you all a platform to speak your policies, your thoughts and opinions, and letting us allow people to give you questions. That way you can spout out, your thoughts and feelings on things. So we appreciate you as well.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. So hello, everyone. Welcome to Our Vote Counts Town Hall. I am your moderator, Jazz B. So for those who are not familiar with Our Vote Counts, we are a nonpartisan group of citizens from diverse states and backgrounds, united by a shared commitment to empowering voters and promoting candidates who stand for integrity, inclusion, and accountability in the upcoming elections. Formed by a collective of advocates, Our Vote Counts represents the strength of our geography, race, and ideology. While our stories are different, our mission is the same: to ensure that every voice is heard and every vote truly counts. So with Our Vote Counts, it's not just a name, it's a promise, it's a movement, and a rallying cry for democracy. Together, we're shaping the future one informed vote at a time. So tonight, I am joined by Shamal Carter. Shamal is a Democratic candidate running for Arkansas State House of Representatives for the District of 36. District 36 covers parts of Craighead, Mississippi, and Poinsett County. Did I pronounce those names right?
So it's changed. It's been kind of gerrymandered. So it is Craighead and Poinsett. So it covers 4 cities: Jonesboro, Arkansas, Bay, Arkansas, Truman, Arkansas, and LaPanta, Arkansas.
Thank you for telling me that, because I did read that there was some redistricting right in the middle of the census. So thank you for correcting me on that. No problem.
No problem.
Okay, so that pretty much encompasses northern Arkansas, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with that being said, we'll be talking about Shamal's background, his vision for the district, and of course taking your questions live. So Shamal, after each set of topic questions I pose to you, we will allow one person to come up and ask you a question. In between the first set of topic questions, I will push out a set of rapid fire questions. Those are more political in nature. And then the second half of those rapid fire questions, that will be more fun. It'll be towards the end, so you can be prepared for that.
Okay.
All right.
Gotcha.
So, Shamal, we've learned some brief background about you. I've learned that you are a Jonesboro-based organizer who currently serves as a president of the Craighead County NAACP. And you have spent years working on issues around equity, education, and civic engagement. You are an Arkansas State University alumnus with a master's degree in public health, and has worked closely with families and children across the state. You are heavily involved in early learning and community-based initiatives. Some other facts I've learned about your state is that the 2020 election for the Democrats was canceled. So therefore, you will be pushed into the general election running against the incumbent John Rye. Is that correct? Okay. And so with that being said, for those who are not familiar with you and they're meeting you for the first time, tell us, what was that moment or the experience that made you say, okay, it's time for me to run for office and offer a vision for District 36 in Arkansas?
Yes. So just a few things. So I didn't have a primary, so that's why I don't have an opponent for the primary election. So it wasn't canceled, that we just don't have I don't have an opponent until November.
Okay.
Until November. But so August of last year, I get a phone call, and of course, serving as the NAACP president and running for a partisan position, I had to resign before I announced that I was running. But neither here nor there. Back in August of last year, I get a phone call, and someone is frantic, and they're just, man, what are we gonna do? What are we going? And I'm so what do you mean? We had a police officer right here in Jonesboro, Arkansas, had a Caucasian male handcuffed in the backseat of his car. He was taking him out to the county. He pulled over on the side of the road and he beat him, slammed his head in the door. Did him real bad. And so as the president of the NAACP, I was the first one on the phone with the chief of police. Hey, what are we doing? And so, of course, that officer, they let him go, of course, but I felt like that wasn't enough. And so I kept pushing, but it seems like we just were not getting anywhere. You know as well as I know, had that been a regular citizen attacking a police officer, he would have been tried way before he even made it to a courthouse. This officer was able to leave, and he still hadn't been decertified yet, as of now, but he has been charged, so I'm pretty sure he'll be decertified after he serves whatever time it is he's going to do. But in that, I knew then, along with a lot of other things that has happened in Northeast Arkansas, when it comes to education and when it comes to some positions that I've held on different boards, I knew then that it's going to take somebody that's going to stand up and say, hey, we're citizens just like, our public servants are, whether it's police officers, whether it's firefighters, whatever the case may be. And so we need to feel as protected as they do. And so that right there lit the fire under me and said, hey, it's time to do something different and be a candidate for the people, all people, African Americans, Caucasians, men, women, children, Latinos, everybody. Human rights is what it's about. It's not about color.
Thank you for that. Excuse me. So I want to go into a quick icebreaker question with you before we get into the serious topic. So, as we know, Arkansas has a very heavy, powerful Black history portions of the state that a lot of people don't know. Some people know Black history of Arkansas being from the Little Rock Nine, a lot of grassroots organizations that stem from Arkansas. But my question to you regarding this is, what part of the Black history in Arkansas most influences you and how you think about leadership today?
The Elaine Massacre.
Yes.
The Elaine Massacre is
From the Red
something.
Summer.
I am from a small community outside of Jonesboro, about 45 minutes to an hour. It's called Wynne, Arkansas. Wynne, Arkansas is very, very small. And so that was one of the pivotal things, because Elaine is maybe an hour from where I grew up at. And so that was one of the things that helped shape, because my father is from Phillips County. And so Phillips County, Helena, and Elaine is right by Helena. And so it's right there, so close together. That was one of the things that I got to study and try to understand. Because, people talk about Black Wall Street, what happened with Black Wall Street. People talk about the Little Rock Nine. People talk about so many things, but they don't talk about those Black farmers that were there in Elaine and why it happened. And so that was one of the things that kind of helped shape my understanding in history. And coming from a small farming community, my stepfather farmed for 52 years and he's still farming. And so that was something that played a huge role in me understanding and fighting for the rights of people.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And I wanted to ask you that question so it didn't go unnoticed or just brushed over, because this is essentially Black History Month. So thank you for including, what led you from just the Black history of Arkansas to help you motivate you to be a leader today. So I appreciate your answer on that. Okay, so we're going to go into talking about infrastructure and rural development. Mm-hmm. So just to kind of break down District 36 regarding this, it says that that includes you have a major agricultural hub in places like Truman. And also it includes certain issues like aging irrigations and water management is very vital there. Mm-hmm. And it also says that the state is referring almost like $500 million in water bonds to the 2026 ballot. Mm-hmm. And legislators are proposing an economic development district to districts to incentivize local growth. So my question to you regarding this is, as a candidate for a heavy agricultural district, and of course agriculture is very near and dear to you, how would you ensure that the $500 million water bond isn't just a focus on central Arkansas, but actually reaches the rural irrigation and sewage systems in your counties, in your district?
I'm glad you asked. I don't know if you've kind of looked at it much yet, but a part of my platform is T. So I'm the father of five girls. And so probably when I was getting ready to start my campaign, they were like, okay, daddy, clock it. And so advocacy is one of the huge components of what my platform is. And so rural communities a lot of times are overlooked. And if you look at my district, it encompasses a lot of farmland, a lot of agri. I live in Jonesboro, which is the most urban portion of my district. Once you leave Jonesboro, it's nothing but farmland. And so one thing that I would do is focus on the infrastructure of those areas, the irrigation of those areas, and focusing on building those areas up. But I would start with public safety and how I encompass everything together, focusing on how farmers have to be able to get the irrigation to their fields, because right there in the middle of that, right there when you cross over into my district, we have something called the St. Francis River. And so that is how a lot of those farmers are using some of their irrigation. There's a pumping station down in the area as well. But my focus is, hey, from the farm to our kitchen table. And we know that Arkansas is the largest rice producers, one of the largest rice producers in the world. And so focusing on trying to make sure that our legislation know not just only there in Little Rock, but know as well in DC that, hey, Arkansas is the pulse of feeding America. And so that'll be my focus, is making sure that they have a voice at the table, contacting, as of right now until the elections, Senator Bozeman or Senator Cotton or Crawford, Representative Crawford, letting them know, hey, we have to focus on this. And I will say, Senator Bozeman has been on the battlefield for agriculture for a while here in Arkansas, and even though there's a lot that I don't agree with in the big beautiful bill, or big ugly bill, whatever they want to call it, I'm not here to criticize. I am here to build on what can make Arkansas better. But I know that he would be an ally that I would have in DC to focus on the infrastructure of those smaller communities, the clean water and the access to water that they need.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And just to follow up, also, legislators in your state, they're proposing a new system of economic development districts. So how would you use this to bring higher paying jobs in places like Delta towns without relying on tax breaks that might drain your local schools?
So it's not a might to it, and I'm glad you asked me that, because Arkansas has we've kind of switched our learning pattern to the LEARNS Act, and the LEARNS Act is actually bleeding our public school system dry because it makes us a choice school system, but also that money is going into private schools, charter schools, and homeschool. And so how I would focus that economic development, I would focus on factories that would benefit those communities. And I would try to go for my rural areas. I would try to incentivize those companies for coming into that community and getting them to invest in the infrastructure, like this said water bill, the $500 million, like it, incentivizing that to get them in the community to focus, to build that money in those communities. Small communities are what's going to help build the pulse in America. It's not big towns, because big towns have everything you need in them. It's the smaller communities. So bringing factories to smaller communities is how I would help focus on that.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So I'm going to allow anyone who would like to come up and ask Mr. Shamal a question regarding the topics that we just talked about, specifically around the infrastructure and rural development within Arkansas. Feel free to request up. Once again, you don't have to be from Arkansas to ask Mr. Shamal a question, because most of the things that his district or state is dealing with, more than likely your state is dealing with it as well, or your neck of the woods. So feel free to request up and ask Mr. Shamal a question. So it looks like I don't have no one in the chat asking you any questions as well, or anyone in the queue. So we'll just roll over to talking about education and childcare access.
Okay.
So you've also specifically highlighted concerns over the school readiness assistance program, particularly that copays requirement, that has a copay requirement of working parents. So specifically within the district, often struggle with balance and funding between public and private voucher systems. Oops, sorry. But my question to you is, you criticized the new copay requirements for the school program, the school readiness assistance program. So for a parent in that district working a minimum wage job, how would you propose reform, specifically lowering the monthly child care costs?
Oh, in other places, childcare is free. It's free. And to answer your question with a story, because I'm great at storytelling, because I have a grandbaby. So I had a parent reach out to me, and she said, Mr. Carter, she said, I don't know what to do. She said, I work a minimum wage job. She said, I have to literally choose between feeding my children and paying for daycare. I can't afford this system that they're putting in place. But again, this system is a failure to give Arkansas access to the education that they need. And we're not starting at K through 12, but we're starting literally from the cradle all the way up to. I serve on the board of directors for Arkansas Early Learning, which is a Head Start program, and we receive federal funding. But the state is saying, hey, we don't know how we can sustain our educational system if we give you guys said money. So my proposal is simple. You know, the more money I can make as a parent, the more money I can afford to pay. So I invest in infrastructure, I invest in public safety, and I invest in the economy so these parents can make more money. But in that, I allocate more money from my health and human services so that these children can go to daycare for free if those parents meet the income standards. I feel like now this mother reached out to me, she made $13 an hour. That's below the income standard. That is poverty at its finest. So hyper focusing on the economy to build money, to increase minimum wage, to build the growth that they need in order to pay that money. I feel like, and me and my team feel like, focusing on building that family dynamic and getting them more money to help pay is going to be the key to being able to afford childcare in our area. But we as a state have to step up and allocate more money so these parents that don't have the money can afford to send their children to daycare while they work.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people don't understand monthly childcare costs can be just as much or even more than a car payment.
Rent.
So I thoroughly agree with you on that. And also pushing for more fund reallocation will make a big difference in the way of life for not only Arkansas. I don't know the term. Is it Arkansans or Arkansans? Arkansas. Okay, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and even in my state, I reside here in Alabama. It would definitely make a big difference for a lot of Alabamians. So, I thank you for your policy prescription on that. So, my next question to you regarding education is that there is a 2026 ballot initiative requiring private schools receiving public funds to meet the same accreditation standards as your public schools. So, do you believe that this level of accountability is the best way to protect your local public school funding in the Delta?
So, and I don't know where you read that at, but as of right now, private and charter schools do not have to meet the same demand as public school. I do not agree with the lack of oversight and the lack of accountability that the private schools can have. Right now, here in Arkansas, we have had an 18% decrease in public school admins with kids going to public school. The number is going down every month. But the problem with this I have is they can go to these private schools, but these private schools they don't have any rules to meet. They literally, if they don't want you there, they don't have a reason, but they can just say, hey, you got to go back to public school. When the state is already giving you said money for you to go to private school, now you're going back to be not a burden, but literally go back to the public school that don't have the money. You literally set a salary of $50,000 and again, pay our teachers. I agree with that 110%. Pay our teachers. But let's pay our teachers and not give big corporations tax breaks. That's the biggest issue we have right now. It's not the fact that we don't want to pay our teachers. We can't afford to pay it because watch this. The state said we'll fund it for this long, but the district has to come up with the money to fund all your teachers at $50,000 starting out. But watch this. I don't care how long you've been teaching. We don't really incentivize. You have a base pay of $50,000. That's not fair. So I personally feel like our public school system, as well as those charters, private and homeschool, need to be held accountable, and there should be a level of transparency. I grew up in the country, and if I could get the government to pay for a chicken coop for my house, I would be excited about it. Or if I could get the government to pay for my Ralph Lauren, I would be excited about it. But this money is coming from public education. This money needs to go back into the K through 12 classrooms so that they can learn, so that you can have suitable facilities. When I played ball in school, we didn't have to pay because I played for a public school. It's getting to a point now where I have a son that plays football. We have to pay money for him to play in a public school. You want to reallocate funding, that's fine if you put it in the classroom, but it's not going to the classroom. It's actually going to private schools, and this money is going to their homes. And I'm not going to get into should people homeschool their kids or not, because that's their choice. But if you choose to homeschool your child, be able to support. You don't need the amount of money that they're giving per child to homeschool it blows me away. So I feel like, okay, oversight and accountability, it should all come in together. Just because you're private and charter, you should have the same rules as public schools. It shouldn't be any different.
Absolutely. And you're right. And I can relate to that regarding going to a school that you didn't have to pay. Because I play ball myself on a collegiate level. So I understand if they can fund that, they can fund the things earlier in life for children as well. And it helps with their overall way of life and their outcomes later on in life as well. So I appreciate your answer on that. Oh, were you trying to say something, Shamal?
No.
Okay. All right. So if anyone wants to come up and ask Mr. Shamal a question regarding what we just discussed, feel free to request up. I know I haven't checked the queue in a while, so I don't see anyone else thus far. But I see that you have crackhead Democrats in the chat. So Thank you all for stopping by to listen to this good conversation that Shamal is having with Our Vote Counts. So we're going to roll into talking about your slogan, People Over Politics,
Yes.
and the voting power of that. So as I've learned about your slogan, Power Over Politics, I'm sorry, People Over Politics, excuse me. Recent Arkansas Supreme Court rulings have allowed the legislature to alter voter approved measures with 2/3 majority and move many advocates that see as a strike against direct democracy. So, since we've learned about your slogan, yet the state government has recently gained the power to override voter approval laws. If the people of the district vote for a measure under what circumstances, do you believe that the legislature should have the power to change it?
No. It's people over politics, progress over partisanship. I understand you have one side you sit on, I have a side I sit on. But when the people speak, when you get an initiative put on the ballot, we as legislators are not the ones out there knocking on doors and getting those signatures. It's the people. It's the people in Arkansas, and they want something the way it's worded. And in all honesty, I feel like this is a form of voter suppression. I feel like this is a form of holding a community back, holding a state back, holding a country back, in our honesty, by saying, hey, here in Arkansas, if you, and I'm going to use this for an example, we're going to we're going to go back to education right quick. If we say, you know what, there should be oversight of public and private money or state dollars going to public and private institutions. And then as legislators, okay, well, I get that, but how about we say the only thing they have to share is how much money they're sending out? No, that's not what we asked for. We, the people, have asked for complete oversight. We have asked for a complete accountability of where taxpayers' money is going. And so that's why it is important that, again, the people rule over politics, over party, over partisanship. It's all about the people. Without the voting power, without our votes, we don't get to legislation. So it's up to us to stand up and say, hey, I'm sorry, but that's not right. That's not fair. And we need something different. And that's my focus. And I can promise you, it'll never be about Shamal. It'll always be about my constituents and the people in my district. And I will fight until I can't fight anymore to make sure their voice is heard. If that ballot measure or that ballot initiative says they want it one way, I will fight to keep it that way. Regardless of what the numbers are in the House or the Senate, Shamal's voice will remain the same. And it'll be people over a party. It'll be people over politics. It'll be people over big pharma. It'll be people over big companies, because the people are who speaks and that's who rules.
Absolutely. And to your point, I think I read a story back in 2020, right before the election, that there was a certain ballot initiative. I think it was in regards to women with their body autonomy. That you all had a certain threshold to meet with those signatures, and I think there was a certain group that physically brought the ballots in boxes.
Yes.
To the,
yes.
I think it was to the, was it the registrar's office? It was some office.
Secretary of State.
Yes, Secretary of State office.
Yes.
And the Secretary of State still did not approve the ballot measures, although that group checked all the boxes of the requirements that met in order to put that on the ballot. They still voided it. And I know that was probably crushing to know that. Yeah,
it definitely is. But watch this. That's the reason why. That's the reason why they have focused on changing the way we put things on the ballots. Because of initiatives like that, because of grassroots initiatives, that's why they have made it their business to put legislation in place to block those initiatives. Watch this. I'm the father, and I have wonderful daughters, and I got a beautiful grandbaby. And I'm one of those people who feel like my daughter should be able to make a decision when it comes to her body. I am a man, and we have a different anatomy. And let me tell you, and I'm going to say this the most respectful way, I do not have a cycle every month. So I can't tell you how your body feels. If you were to become pregnant, I'm not the one that should make the decision on what you do with your body. Even though that's my child and I want the best for her, I want her to say, Daddy, this is what I want to do. But I don't want to have to worry about her going to prison because she made a mistake or because she was SA'd, as the kids call it now. I don't really know that's where this initiative, that's where here in Arkansas, that is what, and again, that's another reason I'm running, because if we don't stand up and say that's not right, who's going to stand up. It's not a black thing. It's not a white thing. It's a right thing. Because whether you're a white child or whether you're a black child, watch this, having a baby at a young age when you were molested is something that you have to live with for the rest of your life. Why am I as a man telling you, hey, you got to raise that child and you have to birth that child? How can I tell you that? How fair is that to not just that child, but the child? But watch this. What about Arkansas right now? We can't keep up with the demand in the foster care system. So now you put this child in foster care, and now the state now has to produce the finances to take care of this said child. Absolutely. I'm not saying that I support abortion. I'm not saying I'm against abortion. I'm saying a woman should literally have the right to choose what she wants to do with her body.
Absolutely. And thank you for that. I think if we were to duplicate men like you all over the country, I think the world would probably be a better place and being more empathetic and sympathetic to knowing that the way a woman's body functions is completely different.
It's definitely
so I
different.
appreciate your opinion on that.
Thank
Absolutely,
you.
your advocacy on that. Okay, so my second question to you regarding your slogan is that as you being a two-term NAACP president, you've been on the front lines of the community, being a strong advocate. How does that experience change how you approach the Board of Corrections versus the governor power struggle, especially regarding the transparency of building new prisons in rural areas?
My campaign is built on being proactive. And currently, my day job, I work in drug and alcohol prevention. And this all ties in. I won't take you long when I'm explaining this to you. I am a proactive person. I personally do not believe that by mass incarceration, we're going to fix our issues. I do believe by being proactive and we reallocate that money into mental health facilities and programs, into mentoring programs and initiatives, and reallocating that money into recovery like Arkansas is already doing. I think again, this comes from being on the front line, because when I go to the jails or I get phone calls about issues, watch this, they are everyday people who are having everyday problems. I can't afford to feed my children, so now I'm selling drugs. So with me selling drugs, I got caught selling drugs. Now I can't get a good job. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
One second, I have to stop you. We had one of the candidates on the panel last night saying some TikTok triggering words, so then they restricted the person off the panel. So I just want to see if you say some coded words in replacement of, so like you can say like D-rugs or substances.
Gotcha.
And then and then the AB word, just say AB.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Sexual assault. Yeah.
I got you. But again, being proactive and getting out ahead of it before it becomes an issue, and starting at an early age with our children and their mental health and different things like that, I think is going to be key. Yes, I do feel like people who do break, the law, I feel like there should be a consequence, but I also feel like we should give second chances. And that's one of the vital things I learned in being president of a civic organization. People make mistakes, but we shouldn't hold it over their head for the rest of their lives.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, and this is just a question I have for you regarding you being an NAACP president. How did that position specifically give you a different view on how to view the community? Tell me something that you learned within like the first term of you running as you serve in that position of being NAACP president. Quickly, if you can tell me, I'm just curious.
Investigate. That is the number one thing I learned. People will call you with their stories and they'll give you half truths. And then you will put your tail on the line for their half truths, and then you'll get there and you'll have egg on your face. I feel like that's one of the number one things I've learned that has prepared me to hold this seat. Is I want to figure out and get to the bottom of the whole thing. I don't want to jump to conclusions. I don't want to make assumptions, but I need the whole story. That's the number one thing that serving in this position, or in that position when I was in that position, was I had to investigate, but I had to put bias aside. I had to put my personal opinion aside, and I had to make an informed decision based off of facts. And I feel like that's one thing legislators have to learn to do. You have to put your party aside, and you have to make legislation that's based on the need of the people. And that goes into my people over politics.
All right, thank you for that. So I'm going to allow anyone who would like to come up and ask Shamal a question, feel free to do so. I'll just wait a few more seconds to allow anybody else, but in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and test your. I say test your heartbeat or kind of test your speed when it comes to giving these rapid fire questions to you. So these are quick responses, yes or no. So the first one I want to ask you is regarding vouchers and vocational. If you had to pick one to receive a $10 million state grant today, whether it's private school vouchers or will it be rural trade schools? Which ones would you choose?
Rural trade
Private
school.
school voucher. Okay. And briefly, tell me why. I'm curious.
Because a lot of our smaller communities, they don't receive the finances anyway to help build those up. So a lot of those are farming communities, they're mechanic communities, there's agri communities, and so it'll help build small businesses in that community that can help shift that economy into a higher direction.
Okay. And regarding the surplus, should the state's multi-billion-dollar surplus be used to tax for tax cuts or infrastructure in the Delta?
Infrastructure in the Delta.
Okay. Yes or no regarding ballot power? Should the legislator have the power to change a law after the people have voted for it?
No.
All right. Regarding losing control, who should have the final say on where a new prison is built? Should it be the governor or the county quorum courts?
I'm going to say the people, so the county quorum court.
Okay. I never heard of that. What is the county quorum court?
It's like a commissioner, a county commissioner. It's the same thing as a county commissioner.
Okay.
So it's like a county judge is a county commissioner.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, so regarding the grocery tax, now that the state's tax is gone, would you support a law to cap local grocery taxes too?
Yes.
Okay. So as a top priority, what is the number one reason young people leave District 36? Is it housing, jobs, or education?
Public safety and lack of infrastructure.
All right, and lastly, regarding bipartisanship, name one Republican-led policy in Little Rock that you will actually agree with. Okay, I'm gonna leave it as that. If you don't have one.
So let me say this. There's parts of the LEARNS Act that I do support. They have a vocational track in the LEARNS Act that it was it's like learning trades. It's a trade pretty much. So that is my support. I support that portion of the LEARNS Act.
Okay. All right.
No,
so we have someone. Oh, go ahead.
So Ms. Joni said, no, our state tax isn't gone. They took away our grocery tax. We have a lot of taxes in Arkansas. So they took away our grocery tax. But the thing is, it only saves us 0.025 cents on the dollar. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, we can talk about that another time.
It's like a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just to say we did something. That's what it comes down to.
Okay. All right. So we have Miss Real Estate on the panel. Hello. Would you like to ask Shamal a question, or you have a comment?
Comment and question. This has been a great live. I'm so glad to see these forums. I'm glad to see you running, Mr. Carter. And we are here to support as much as we can. Want to let you know, this is Natalie James, former candidate for the I ran for U.S. Senate against John Bozeman in 2022 cycle here in Arkansas. And so I'm just glad to see somebody in Jonesboro. I'm glad to see how we're taking advantage of all social media to get out here, get our voices heard, let people know exactly what's going on, because Arkansas is a purple state. It is winnable if people get out here and register to vote and do what they need to do, especially when we have candidates like you. So thank you for answering that call. Thank you for showing up, and thank you for being on the platform, meeting people where they are. That is something that I campaign heavily on, and I'm just loving seeing it now, because people are in all walks of life doing all different kinds of things, and they need different types of mediums to get to them so they can hear your message and understand, I'm here with you, I'm in the thick of it, I'm not any better than you, unlike the rest of these folks who are fly over, don't pay attention, don't care. So in your district in Jonesboro, who are you running against, and what can we do to better support you?
So Miss Natalie, I actually have a picture with you. And I don't know if you remember it, but I'm going to send it to you because I still have you on my other social media platform.
Oh,
when you ran, we met at Arkansas State University. You were with Miss Goldie and a few other people. And you and I was the guy in the red Chuck Taylors. I've lost about 100 pounds since then, so I don't look the same. But I'm running against Representative Johnny Rye.
Okay. I'm not gonna say nothing bad, but my mama said if I don't have anything good, don't say nothing at all.
Yes. So we won't say anything bad. We appreciate his service, and our focus is building a better Arkansas. How you guys can support me is, man, we're running a grassroots campaign. So of course we don't have any money for big donors. All of our money comes from grassroots people in those communities. So $10, $20, whatever, it literally helps us. But not just that, the power of social media. I don't care if I said whatever hashtag it is, if you see it on my page, share it. Because I don't share pointless information. If you go back and look at any of my TikToks, or if you go back and look at any of my Facebook or my Instagram or my Twitter, I focus on situations. And watch this. I focus on the things that I know I have the power to change. We know that there are things going on the federal level, and I understand that I'm running for a state position. I understand that my voice has power, but I also understand that it's going to take me making change on our state level so that those in the legislation that comes, the Chris Jones that comes after myself, that goes on the federal level, can say, hey, in Northeast Arkansas, Shamal Carter just ran legislation that focused on foster care and getting foster families more money to help incentivize it and build more homes there in that community. So we need to mirror that legislation on the federal level. So again, man, whatever contribution can be made to my campaign.
How do they make contributions?
I'm on ActBlue. You can go to my my website at Carter for District 36.
Got some good change.
So we have good change. It's the same thing. Same thing. I had to think about it for a second. My manager normally is like, she's feeding me, but she's not in front of me right now, so I'm solo tonight.
That's why I reminded you to ask for votes and ask for money, honey. What are you doing with that money? Let the people know where it goes. It's going to canvassing, to the postcards. Ask them every time you open your mouth. You need to ask, can I get $5? Can I get a cup of coffee? Can I get a tank of gas so I can get around and do what I need to do?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Definitely will. But that's how I need your help. That's it. Just when you see my videos, share them. And that's the way that you guys can help as well. Because I will in turn donate the money from my social media. I would donate that money to my campaign if we can get some of this stuff out there. If we can get people, and that's what people don't understand. The very thing that they're trying to do to help themselves, we can do it ourselves. We can get on these algorithms and we can go viral, and then in turn they can pay us for sending that stuff. They're gonna give us money, and that same money we putting it back into our communities, and that's what I plan to do.
And that's free, right?
Yes.
Just sharing is caring. That's all it is. I mean, this has been a great, great, great moment. I'm just so proud of you. Proud to see all of this come full circle. And I'm proud to see and know what you can do, because we have a supermajority with the GOP. And the only way we can break it up is if we show up. And right now, you're showing up. So we have to make sure we can do what we can to support and do what we can to get them out of office so that we can go back blue. Because Arkansas is purple and it's just a non-voting state. People don't register to vote. People don't have a reason to vote. Now you got a reason. Now you're talking to a reason. You're looking at a reason. You hear the reasons why he's running. And none of these reasons sound like they're for him. They sound like they're all going to benefit your community and benefit the people in Jonesboro, and not even just here in Arkansas, but in surrounding areas in Mississippi and Tennessee, Memphis, all surrounding areas, Missouri. This is not just helping us, it's helping you. So pouring back into you is going to pour back into your community on a local level and on a federal level, because like you said, that LEARNS Act, that money is federal money coming to help support those surrounding states. Make sure y'all are doing what y'all can to support this candidate and any other candidate you see up here. It's important. If you don't have the time and you don't have the funds, you're on a fixed budget, make sure you share. Now that's free. Make sure you are letting people know who this person is. Tell your next 10 neighbors, tell your next 20 people, share. Because right now, we need all the help we can get seeing what's going on with this guy in office. He's not going to help us. He's going to harm us even more. So we have to save ourselves because nobody's coming.
Definitely. I agree.
Thank you so much, Miss Real Estate, for coming up in and adding your thoughts and expertise. And And actually, this was an unplanned reunion I see as well. So thank you.
I know. Thank you for having me up. I was glad to remind him to always ask for money.
Definitely, definitely,
Absolutely.
Because I
definitely.
know how hard it is and I know what all you got to do, and it doesn't get funded unless people are helping funding you. So I'm going to make sure I go in and I donate to you as well.
Thank you so much. I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome.
All right. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Miss Real Estate.
Thank you. Y'all have a great one.
You too.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so we're going to go and talk about healthcare access and maternal mortality.
Yes.
So, Arkansas has the highest maternal mortality rate in the nation. And the Delta region, specifically within your district, is often classified as the maternity desert. Just with your background of you dealing with substance and within the substance misuse recovery, which gives you a more of a unique perspective regarding just public health and the infrastructure of public health. So my question to you is, Arkansas is currently facing a crisis of maternal health and rural hospital closures. As a recovery specialist, how would you leverage your public health background to expand postpartum and Medicaid coverage for mothers in the counties that cover your district?
Fighting for access. That's the biggest thing. So the expansion is access. In those rural communities, when we go to infrastructure, they lack transportation to get to said places. We do know that our governor did allocate said funding for mortality morbidity, but we want to go back a little farther, and we had a little further. I'm sorry, we had a senator that actually fought against it because it was minority mortality morbidity, because we have more African Americans that suffer from this because of the lack of access, because they live in those rural areas. My focus would be continue with access, focusing on the infrastructure so that you can utilize telehealth. So that you can get the care that you need early, so that if there are issues, we can put that money into Medicare, Medicaid, or into their private funding, so that you can get the extended health care that you need in those said communities. Trying to use that money to put smaller clinics, drive-through clinics in those smaller rural areas. We do know that in my district alone, Jonesboro is the only hospital, because before there was one in West Memphis. I think they have a clinic now. It's not a hospital. So putting money into, again, St. Bernard's is one of our largest providers in this area. St. Bernard's in NEA Baptist, or Baptist rather. So working with them to put functional clinics in those areas, as well as working with private ambulance services to try to give people transportation and increase their infrastructure to get them to the healthcare that they need, and increase in broadband so that they can have access to telehealth and to different internet access for things that they'll need for their health wise for that particular situation.
Absolutely. And so my follow-up question is just given your background regarding substance recovery, do you believe the state's current funding in I'll say this code word, smopioid settlement fund is reaching rural community organizations effectively? Or is the money getting stuck in legislative communities?
So I don't think it is.
Okay.
Because you have a judicial system that is fighting against said smopioid issue. Because they're not getting funding in rug court. They're not getting the funding. I actually sat down, and I will not say names, but actually was in a meeting with the judge, and he feels like, when it comes to the being proactive, that's not working. We need to put more money into our rug court. And that's just not the case. I feel like those rural communities are being overlooked. I come from a rural community, and I'll tell you, one of the things that was big on us is on Friday night, I play football. So on Friday night, we got together around a bonfire. You know what happens around a bonfire. Everybody, we all know what dare means. We all know who came up with dare. But let me tell you, just say no is not being proactive, and that's not prevention. Let me tell you, just say no means let me go see what they told me to say no to. So I think educating those rural communities, which is the job that I have now, educating those rural communities on the harmful effect of said smopioids or said marijuana or said different things. Like, it's the focus on education. That is the key to being proactive. Over educate. forcing these school districts, because right now we do something called APNA, which is Arkansas Prevention Needs Assessment, and it lets us know the number of children that misuse. And so they don't always want to participate in it, because when it comes to people moving into those communities, that is public information. And so I don't want my kid going to that school because they have access to, said, things that we just discussed. So I do think those rural communities are overlooked. And I think in my position that I would want to pour more into those rural communities and help build those places.
Absolutely. And also, just to that point, I think also people need to destigmatize when people are going through that, because they tend to throw those people away. Not understanding that it's not just so much of an addiction, but it's ultimately it affects everyone else that is around them, not just them themselves. So I think we need to start normalizing understanding that those people, you have to be patient with them and understanding from a level of where their frame of mind is when they're going through that recovery process. So thank you for your advocacy work regarding being a part of that program as well, amongst the other things that you are involved in. So I don't want to dim those lights. So, okay. So I want to open it up for anyone who would like to ask you a question, but ultimately those in the chat, they are enjoying what you're saying. Someone did make a comment saying that they hope that the preliminary results of the ballots in Georgia specifically will join to all support for this the Safe Vote Act. I'm gonna have to look that particular act up. Not really privy to that, but I think ultimately they're just saying that just to help for voter protections. Ultimately, from what I see from the comments. Yes. Okay. So I don't see anyone else in the comments asking any questions, or anyone in the queue. So we'll roll it into talking about steel industry and workforce housing. So the steel production in Arkansas is very pivotal, and also within the U.S. It has billions in investments recently. However, many workers commute from outside the district because of the shortage of quality, especially when it comes to local housing. And it's also a major issue for a state representative also. Now that the steel industry in Arkansas has not really been talked about, the fact that workers aren't living in those communities that they work in. What specific legislation would you support to incentivize workforce housing developments in the places in your district, specifically for steel industry wealth that can just stay within the district that they work in? Can you speak to that for me?
So the neighboring county to me, Mississippi County, one of the biggest steel producers, with Nucor, and there's another one in Osceola. One of the biggest issues you have in said communities is public safety. And so legislation that I would run, I would try to focus on, one, what is public safety? That's what we were started. The way you build public safety is through building infrastructure. The way you build infrastructure is you focus on the economy. So you bring in said jobs. That particular steel mill there in Blytheville, I think the least paid is like $70,000 a year, but it's not a safe community. And so what I would focus on is lighting in that community. I would focus on drainage in that community. And I would focus on public safety as far as investing in the police department, investing in the fire department. And this is how you get people investing in the school system, the public school system, not the private one. That is how you build those small communities into what I call a well-oiled steel machine. Because if I am safe at home, I can work a 12-hour shift and leave my family at home and not worry about being robbed, or worry about, them being harmed, worry about my son walking home from school and being, unalived or something of the sort. So again, starting with the public safety component of it, that's going to build it. Starting with parts, starting with education, just pushing that money into that community to build those specific things. I think at that point you can build for those people to live in those communities. And in the legislation that's passed, it won't just cover my district, but it'll cover the state of Arkansas. And so it'll help build those communities so that you'll have a thriving community instead of a unaliving community.
And regarding the environmental portion of that, how do you balance, although trying to keep people within the district that work there also living there, regarding the environmental portion, how do you balance that? Because to your point about the safety portion, you also have other entities like OSHA that also helps regulate things to make sure people have proper PPE, other testing testing tools to test like the air quality. Could you tell me how would you balance that, knowing that your district is very big when it comes to Big River Steel and U.S. Steel plants regarding the environmental
Accountability.
portion of it?
Accountability. And this, we're held accountable when it comes to OSHA, when it comes to the workers, we're held accountable for making sure they make sure we have access to it, but you're required to make sure you have it on. Or when it comes to the environmental part of it, again, those big companies being accountable for the waste, being accountable for pollution, try to find solutions for better filter systems. That again speaks back to the infrastructure. That creates more jobs. And so my focus would be watch just being completely transparent about the moves that we make, but holding the right people accountable, whether it be supervisors or whether it be owners or workers. And so we're going to focus on being accountable and being transparent.
Thank you for that. I think accountability is definitely the root of all of that. But I just want to ask a follow up from the first question regarding bringing more infrastructure of building more housing in the places that people live. Do you think once you're elected, do you think it's going to take you working with like the local government there, like the mayors or the county commissions? I'm not sure if you have county commissions in Arkansas.
So that would be your county judges and your justice of the peace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I think I mentioned that earlier. So
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
will it take you working with them to pitch to these companies or these organizations to build more housing infrastructure?
One of the things that I've talked to when I'm having meetings with people, one thing I want to build is a coalition. That coalition will be made up of state officials, federal officials, local officials, whether it be city council or justice of the peace, and local leaders. In these meetings, we'll meet at least quarterly, at least, to discuss the infrastructure of the community, to discuss different grants that are coming out from up top, and then we as a community get to speak. And so when we go back to Little Rock or when we go back to DC, we have the voice of the people and the leaders in that community, and that coalition there, we can say that coalition helped build said community. It helped make said community safer. Like that's the focus. So to answer your question, yes, I think being transparent on each level of government and having a communication and collaboration on every level is vital. So yes, to answer your question is yes.
Absolutely. And thank you for expounding upon that because I think a lot of people don't know like the steps that it take involved to bring entities in to invest in the areas that you want to be revitalized and developed. So thank you for that too, because a lot of people are still new to politics, or if they are into it, they don't know like the intricate parts of different levels of government to know how things work. So thank you for expounding upon that. Okay. So we're going to roll into talking about criminal justice and law enforcement funding. So you have been a vocal advocate for transparency and community-led solutions as an NAACP leader. Meanwhile, the state is debating on how to fundraise and pay for local police officers and correctional staff. So my question to you is, the governor has prioritized pay raises for Arkansas State Police, but local departments in small towns like Truman often struggle to compete. How would you support a state grant program specifically designed to help rural municipalities that can match the state level law enforcement salaries?
So that's going to be a hard one. Just because, I was very, very vocal about our local police department and them getting raises, how it's very important. I have a brother that he lives in Texas, unfortunately. But I have a brother in Texas and he's been in law enforcement for almost 20 years or over 20 years. And so, they work a lot of hours. And so I would support based off of the size of the community. If your local tax dollars can't support a $65,000 a year position, then I feel like on the state level, there should be a grant to be able to offset said amount, but there should be a requirement of the number of continued education hours you're getting in order to deal with your community. I think it should be based on not just your experience, but the continued education that you receive in order to keep your certification. And I think that when it comes to that certification, I think that cultural differences should be something that you should have to focus on in that education. And depending upon your community, I feel like you should have more or less depending on the people that you come in contact with. So I would support an initiative that would help fund said officers to offset the amount that their local municipality could not pay.
Absolutely. And so my next question to you regarding this topic is that you all have a program called LEAD, spelled LEAD. That acronym stands for Law Enforcement Assisted Diversion. Do you believe that your district would benefit more from increased incarceration capacity or from funding programs that allow police to divert nonviolent offenders directly into the recovery services you managed?
I'm all about being proactive. Our chief of police here in Jonesboro said these exact words. We have a problem that we cannot arrest our way out of. And I stand on that. We cannot arrest our way out of mental health issues. We cannot arrest our way out of substance misuse. We cannot arrest our way out of the foster care system issues. We cannot arrest our way out of domestic violence situations. I feel like we have to come to a point to finding the root of whatever the issue is. So I would support initiatives for programs to help build said character of people who have made mistakes or have issues, and they get the help that they need.
Absolutely, and thank you for that answer. So I do see a few questions in the chat. Someone asked, what is one thing about the current state of Arkansas politics that keep you up at night?
Voter suppression.
Is that the number one on your list that keeps coming?
Trying to take away the power of the people and trying to take that power and will it into said officials. I'm going to one day be that official. And what you're trying to do is take away accountability. If you take away my voting power, you take away the accountability piece of it, and you take away the transparency piece of it. So yes, voter suppression is one of the biggest things.
Okay, and then there's another question in the chat, and someone asked, in one word, what is the biggest difference between you and incumbent Johnny Rye? Transparency. Yes. So thank you for that. And for those who don't know, Johnny Rye has been in that office for about 5 terms. So Mr. Shamal here is trying to upset his 6th term. So go ahead and spread the word out to all the Arkansans out there that Jamal is running for the 36th district. Okay, so it looks like those were all the questions that I have thus far regarding this topic. So let's go ahead and roll it into talking about rapid fire again. This is more fun in nature, so you can kind of relax a bit. So yeah. I'm not going to give you the 3rd degree type of vibes this time. So. All right. All right. So quick questions and answers. So if you could choose between the two regarding your Delta diet, I should say, would it be catfish or barbecue?
Barbecue. I'm the barbecue king around here.
Do you have a favorite barbecue spot?
Yeah,
that you recommend? What's the name of it?
So I do barbecue catering. So I typically, I'm cooking all the time. And so I say that I have the best ribs in Northeast Arkansas, but I'm biased. And I think my family and friends feel like I got the best too. So, but typically, if I want ribs, and I'm a country boy, I'm not going to the restaurant. I'm going to go out there and throw some wood in the smoke, and I'm going to throw me a slab on there myself.
So how do you marinate? Do you do a dry brine or a wet brine?
So now you're asking a lot of questions. You're getting personal. But no. So I do a dry rub with a bowl smoke, low temp.
Okay.
So I have a sweet heat dry rub, not a lot of heat, but a whole lot of sweet with a little bit of hick, and it's real good to your taste. So I love it. I love it.
You can't be saying that and you don't get that packaged up and sell it. You can't be saying that type of marinade. That's gonna make us want to see that. Hey, you can sell it. So you don't have to go to the stores. I mean, if you want to just sell it online, I'll be one of the first to.
So I will say this for the people that's here in Arkansas, that's in Northeast Arkansas specifically. We got some block parties coming up in the spring. And I will have some of that good barbecue out there at those block parties. So, hey, come on out. The focus is going to be voter registration. Yes, I'm running for office. I get that. But I want to register people to vote. That is what I want to do. I want your vote, but I want you to vote most of all. So we have a series of block parties playing throughout the communities within my district, from Jonesboro all the way to Lepanto. We're gonna show up. We're gonna get you some good barbecue. We're gonna get you some good music. We're gonna have some fun. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm a down to earth person. I cannot dance, but I'm gonna act like it because my daughter got me to do a silly TikTok dance, and I don't think I've lived that one down yet. So
Now, somebody just asked about your barbecue. They said, do you chop the barbecue? Is it more sauce or is it vinegar?
I'm not a vinegar base. I'm not a vinegar base. I'm a tomato base. I'm not a sauce person. My nickname is Mr. No Sauce. They call me Mr. Barbecue, aka
That
Mr.
means
No
good.
Sauce. Now let me tell you, if your barbecue needs sauce, that means you eating sauce and your meat wasn't seasoned. Your meat got to be seasoned from the pit. Then, if you want to dip it in a little sauce afterwards, you can. But I use a tomato based sauce when I make my sauce for you to dip it in, or for my pulled pork sandwiches. I use a tomato base for that. So, but yeah.
Now, you have a point there. If you don't need any sauce, that is good. Absolutely. All right. So the next rapid fire question I have is regarding game day. Are you cheering for the Arkansas State Red Wolves or the Razorbacks?
Why would you do that to me? I'm cheering for the Red Wolves.
All right.
I'm cheering for the Red Wolves. I am.
All right. If you were driving and it was just bumper to bumper traffic, which route are you taking? Highway 61 or I-55?
55.
All right. So, regarding work perks, you spent years in recovery and nonprofit work. What's your guilty pleasure snack to get through a long day of canvassing? Oatmeal pies. Okay.
Oatmeal cream pies. That is it.
Okay. All right. What are you washing it down with?
Sometimes water, other times Powerade.
All right. So, about your hidden gem, what is the one place in Truman or any neighboring counties every Arkansan needs to visit at least once?
Jerry Steakhouse in Truman, and I'm not sure. I hadn't been there in a little while, but Jerry's Steakhouse has the best steaks in Northeast Arkansas. I would put them up against Omar's, which is a fine dining area here, or 501. And they're just a small, small mom pop store there in Truman. And I say that it's been a while since I've been down there because I'm always traveling for work. But they have phenomenal steaks.
You may have to do like a TikTok review on that just to kind of highlight a small business in that area. That way, if anybody's traveling through there, they'll know like, hey, they'll save your reel and know like, hey, this is a place we need to stop by if we're in that neck of the woods. So
I'm gonna take your advice and I'm gonna do it soon.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because it helps people like me when I'm traveling to places I'm not familiar with and I see people doing food reviews. It definitely helps to know where to go.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So regarding your playlist, if you were driving from Osceola to Little Rock, what's playing on your radio? Is it classic blues, R&B? Do you do rock, country? Tell me what's your vibes.
I'm a musician, so there's no telling what you
play.
I play piano, I play organ, I play bass, and I play drums. I'm a preacher's kid, so
absolutely. You a church kid. Yeah.
So I've been a minister of music for about 20 years now. Over 17.
You said Baptist, right?
Non-denominational Baptist. We got Baptists on the building, and we have non-denominational beliefs.
Okay. Because my next question was, if you went Baptist, was you Kojic? Would you know? So
what's crazy is I grew up Kojic.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, that's something new that wasn't in your bio, so that's new to know.
So my family on my mom's side, they are deep bishops in the Church of Christ in Mississippi. And then when we came to Jonesboro, well, they came. I was born in the 80s, but they came in the 60s or whatever. When they came to Jonesboro, they went to Church of God in Christ instead of Church of Christ. So I grew up in Church of God in Christ, Miller's Temple here in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Elder Glenn Conley, who was the pastor and still the pastor there, he has been our family pastor for years. I went to college, and of course, I started playing the instrument at a young age. I went to college, and it kind of transitioned over into me when I came in college. In order for me to take care of myself, I was being paid to play on Sunday morning. And so Baptist church believe in paying. Church of God of Christ don't. So, one thing, I mean,
Yeah.
they pay something. Let's say they pay something. But at the time, I began to play for this Baptist church. I played for them off and on, like I said, for the last 18 years. And my pastor now is my best friend. I love every minute of it. But so to answer your question, sometimes I listen to my own music. So I have a Southern soul. I have a few songs that I
I
wrote.
love Southern Soul.
That's me. Look, I'm a country boy,
Yeah.
and so I got a few songs that I wrote and produced. That's familiar to the district because I love to study the mind, and so the more you hear Shamal Carter, when it's time for you to show up at the ballot, you're gonna hear that song playing in your head, and you're gonna say, "Let me vote for Shamal Carter."
So you listen to people like King George.
Oh, do I listen to him? FPJ, Cecily, yes, I love it all. I love it all. One thing that I do love about Arkansas
Tucker.
is the Blues Festival in Helena, West Helena, Phillips County. It is the best. It is the best. I love it. I love me some good Southern soul.
Do y'all do trail rides in Arkansas?
Do we do trail, ma'am?
I'm having to take a trip now. I love
I
trail
hunt,
rides.
I fish. Let me tell you, we trail ride. I grew up, my stepfather, like I said, he's farmed for 52 years. So I grew up, we own cows, we own hogs. Man, I can skin a deer, I can skin a rabbit, I can scale a fish, you name it. So I'm about as country as they come.
And see, that's what I'm talking about. I like that. That means you can survive anywhere.
Anywhere.
Oh,
Government shut down, man, let me go hunting.
absolutely. But I forgot to ask you regarding the music portion. Can you play by ear? Are you more of a sheet reader?
I play
You
by
play
ear.
solely by ear.
I cannot read music.
That's awesome.
I could not read music. I tried to learn while I was in college. So I tell people, when it comes to life, I failed in a few things, and learning how to read music is one of them.
Absolutely. To me, that's a gift. I mean, I know like sheet reading is more of a skill that you have to be taught, but actually playing by ear, to me, that's like a gift in itself. So I think people don't really talk about that enough. So that's great that you a play by ear type of musician. Okay, and so lastly, regarding the rapid fire, this is more so your legacy. So when your term is over, because you will be elected, I thoroughly believe that. Do you want to be remembered as the policy expert or the community organizer?
The community organizer.
Tell me why.
And so my father has this saying. He said, son, I would rather you be a trade of many than a master of few. And I always wondered, because I thought it was the other way around. He said, son, the more you know how to do, the less expendable you are. So if I just focus on policy, then that means the next person can come up and say, I know policy better than this man do. But if I focus on the people and the needs of the people and learn to develop the policy that's focused on the people in my district, I can promise you my legacy won't be about Shamal, and it won't be inked in just a policy, but it'll be inked in legacy of how I showed up for the people in my district.
All right, so that wraps up the fun portion of the rapid fire. So, Mr. Jamal, it has been a great conversation speaking with you. But just last but not least, it looks like everybody's been enjoying your answers regarding the rapid fire and all that, and just getting to know you more on a personal level regarding those questions. But the last thing I want to ask you, just to kind of leave the audience with something to think about, could you tell me what is your final message to voters towards Election Day? And after your first term is up, what do you hope your constituents will have to gain from you after you leave from office? So it's kind of a two-pronged question.
All right. I'll say this, and I'm speaking to the people on the live as well as the host. Right now, Arkansas we are in a tizzy. Right now, the other side have the supermajority. One thing that I want to bring to the table is bipartisanship. I want to be able to work across the aisle, and I want to be able to make a difference in the lives of the people in not just my district, but in the state. What I need everybody to realize is when we take a side on parties, it's not the people that are Republicans or Democrats that suffer. The people who suffer are the people in Arkansas that needs our help. So yes, I need you to get me to the Capitol. Why do I need you to get Carter to the Capitol? Is because look, I've shown that I can work on both sides. I served in positions where I had to put parties aside. I served in positions as the vice president of Kiwanis where we focused on kids. I've served on the board of directors for Early Head Start where we focused on the family and the child. I served in positions where I know that we can make a difference. No matter what color you are, no matter what side of the aisle you sit on, I know we can do it. I need everybody to take a second and don't worry about what color I am. Don't worry about what party I represent. Don't worry about what religion I am. I need you to worry about your children's children and the access that they're going to have to education. I need you to worry about your daughter making decisions about her body, having full autonomy to be able to make decisions that affect her health, that affects her child's health. It's not a black thing. It's not a white thing. It's a white thing. I'm running for this seat not because I want a legacy rooted for people to remember me. I'm running for this seat because I have a 7-month-old granddaughter that has to grow up in this economy, that has to grow up in this bitter world of hatred and racism. I'm fighting so she can know, not that I just made a difference, but I'm fighting so that she can know that she is somebody. I'm fighting because my daughters and my sons, I'm fighting because my son has dreadlocks. I'm fighting because he walks down the street at night. I don't want him to be a Trayvon Martin. I'm fighting because you have the right to make a decision on what you do with your life. I'm fighting a fight that a lot of you may not ever get to the Capitol, but while I'm there, you're at the Capitol. Because Shamal is going to be the voice, not just for Brianna, Carmen, Seven, Tatiana, or Nevaeh, or my grandbaby. I'm going to be a voice for everybody, not just the people in Arkansas. I want to set the example for the people in Alabama, in Tennessee, in Mississippi, in Texas, in North Carolina, South Carolina, and everywhere. I want to be the model person where they say he did not focus on a party, but he focused on what was the best needs of the people. And as I end, the last thing I'm going to say, I'm going to choose people every time. It's people over politics. It's progress over partisanship. I want to see Arkansas move forward. I don't want to be last in education. I don't want to be last when it comes to food despair. I want to be first in understanding that we can help our people. That's why we pay taxes. And I hope November 3rd, you will go to the polls. Before that, I hope you'll go to Carter for Arkansas.com and you will make a small contribution, $5, $10, $20, whatever you can afford. It will go a long ways. And when I get to the Capitol, you can say, not only did I help make history, but I was a part of his story. I thank you guys for listening to me.
All right, everyone. As what Mr. Shamal just said, it's CarterForArkansas.com. Go ahead and go to his page, support his campaign. If you like to volunteer, feel free to do so. If you like to donate, also do that as well, because the more money he has, the more flexibility for him to go door to door, make postcards, make flyers, make signs. Every dollar counts. So as what Mr. Carter just said, do that. And last but not least, I want to also ask you. I have a couple requests, I should say. And I guess you can say invites. I would like to invite you to our next town hall, Mr. Shamal. Our next town hall is with Reed Showalter. Reed is running for Illinois' 7th Congressional District. That will be next Tuesday. That's February 6th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also, we have a double header headline. So we have the next candidate, which is Adam Grayson Murphy. Adam is running for the Congressional District of Virginia in the 9th part of the state. So that is a double header. He will be coming up next after Reed at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So feel free to stop by and show your face and listen to a great conversation that we'll be having with these candidates. So with that being said, we also have a round table for you, Mr. Shamal. This consists of a group of candidates like you who will come up and on the panel and talk about current events for the week or for the month. and to talk about policy. This is just a two-hour long conversation with people like you that are running for different levels of government, and hopefully you'll reach out to us whenever we send you an invitation to that. So be on the lookout for your email regarding that invitation to our candidates roundtable. That will be February 15th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, and lastly, we also have another one coming up on the 1st as well. So if you can't make it to the 15th, you can show up to the first March 1st roundtable. All right. So I want to thank everyone who has participated in this live stream. I want to thank OVC. I want to thank the moderators, such as me, and I want to thank you, Mr. Carter, for being here and gracing us with your presence and your thoughts and your opinions about Arkansas. So just to close out, our vote counts. We are a nonpartisan movement uniting Americans from all walks of life to empower voters, support candidates of integrity, and ensure that every voice is heard. Through education, outreach, and action, we're building a stronger democracy. So with one informed vote at a time, please join us because your vote is your power. So thank you, Mr. Carter, for being here. We're going to go ahead and close out with our outro music of Our Vote Counts. So you can feel free to stand here, or you can go ahead and drop off. It's up to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining.
Have a good one.
You too.
United, standing strong and free, a tapestry so vast, each thread a choice, a destiny, a future built to last. Our vote counts, every voice, every hand, building bridges, making changes across this promised land. It's power in democracy, a future we can see. Our vote count for you and me, for all of us to be. Stand up tall, let your spirit shine bright. Our vote counts, lead us towards the light. Every single vote making history for a stronger, better tomorrow.